G'day guys, Zane here with BikeReview.com.au, and today we have the new V-STROM 1050 DE. It's gone through quite a few changes since its last generation, and we've just done a couple hundred Ks up through the north of Melbourne and through Marysville, and done some off-roading, done some on-roading, and it's seriously impressed with all the changes it's had. The biggest one for me would probably be on the 1050 DEs, the new gravel mode. As someone who's not a seasoned adventure rider, it's great to have that extra level of security there to make sure you're not spinning the rear wheel too much, but it does allow for a little bit of rear wheel spin and you can still hoon it around and have plenty of fun. We've got switchable ABS now. That's just made night and day difference, because the last thing you want is to grab the brakes on the dirt and have that shudder. The things that have carried over from the last generation are the power plant. So the power plant is the same power plant that we saw on the TL1000 25 years ago, but it has gone through a plethora of changes. We've got electronic throttle bodies, which means you've got cruise control, you've got an upgraded capacity which happened in the last generation, and just overall reliability changes which make the bike awesome to take on long adventures. Up the front here we've got the 5-inch TFT screen, which you can easily change all of your modes through the left-hand side of the handlebars, and it's super easy to change everything. The only thing is you can't change the assists on the fly, so if you hit dirt and you've realised you've left ABS on, you will have to stop and switch that. We've got a quick shifter for 2023, we've got crash bars, we've got a bash plate. This model does have the Pirelli Scorpions on it, but this is not a factory option. You will get the Dunlop Trail Maxes. It would be probably something that I would change if I was doing a lot more off-road kilometres. Is, you can't go wrong with the Pirelli Scorpions. Every bike I've ridden with Pirelli Scorpions on it, they're just awesome on the road and off the road. The Trail Maxes are good, but when you hit that loose stuff, it does seem to walk the front and rear end a little bit. The long travel suspension has obviously had an upgrade in travel, which you'll see on the screen now. That's awesome. It soaks up all the bumps. There wasn't a time at the front or the rear where I felt like it was way too harsh. That's also contributed by the 21-inch front wheel now, which gives a little bit more maneuverability off-road. And yeah, I'll walk you through a few more of the changes through the first-person view as I'm riding it.
Throwing a leg over the Suzuki V-STROM 1050 DE for the first time, and I seriously nearly fall over to the other side. Not only is the seat a lot taller than it first appears, but the centre of gravity is super high. It's not an issue while moving, but it will easily catch people off guard while moving slowly or coming to a stop until they get used to the balance. Time to hit the road, and I'm super eager to hit the loose stuff. However, ahead of us we had about an hour or two of on-road riding where we all got acquainted with the touring side of the 1050 DE. The comfort levels from the tall seat, roomy seating position and high handlebars made for one of the nicest rides through traffic I've had in a long time. Lane splitting is a little nerve-wracking due to that high centre of gravity, but lots of rear brake and plenty of clutch slip at low speed seems to help manage the weight. The rest of our ride out to Marysville is off-road, so it's finally time to see if the plunge into a more off-road heavy approach pays off for Suzuki. First thing to do is to stop and switch the DE to gravel mode, full power and ABS off. The bike transforms into this easy to ride off-roader. The gravel mode is the real star of the show. For riders looking to make the switch to an adventure bike, it's a really good way to ease yourself into tackling some of the loose surfaces. The traction control allows for plenty of rear wheel slip in a controlled fashion. As I go full pelt on the throttle, I can see the TCS light flashing on the dash, but the rear wheel spinning just enough to have some fun. It's awesome to know that there's that extra level of protection there, especially when you get a little heavy-handed on the throttle around the corners. The suspension is spectacular. The fully adjustable 43mm KYB USD forks perform extremely well off-road straight out of the box. Suzuki Australia made 0 adjustments before the launch. There's plenty of front end feeling without a harsh rebound, and you can tell that Suzuki have put plenty of development into off-road riding with it. I can't think of a single thing that would need to be changed about the front forks in terms of loose surfaces. The shock at the rear sees a similar fate. It's almost perfect. The KYB remote shock, which is only adjustable for preload and rebound, loves soaking up the harsh bumps without back-breaking rebound. After riding for a while standing up, I sat down on the off-road section and cruised along at 110 km an hour, and it was simply a breeze. The DE features spoked wheels with a 21-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear. The 21-inch front tacks through the loose surfaces with confidence. That added rolling diameter helps the stability beyond belief. Given that dirt bikes have had a 21-inch front wheel for years, I'm surprised to see Suzuki adopting this size so late. I know there are reservations about a 21-inch front wheel's performance on the tarmac, but the V-STROM 1050 DE just sails through the corners. Chasing the others who are on the road going V-STROM 1050, I could keep up through the twisties with little issue. The only thing I'm not a particularly big fan of is that 90 width front tyre. It's a little bit narrow for the road, and my brain is constantly telling me not to lean the 1050 DE over too far. But if off-road riding is your thing, it's not going to be an issue for you. The Dunlop Trailmax hoops are not the best off-road. The tread design is very mild, so the rear wheel struggles to hook up in the dirt, even with the gravel mode helping it along. Front end grip could be seriously improved off-road with an all-round tyre like the Pirelli Scorpion STR. The floaty nature of such a mild off-road tyre meant it wasn't clearing all of the debris while off-road, and hitting soft gravel lost a heap of manoeuvrability at the front. The power plant is the same working formula that the Suzuki have followed for nearly 3 decades at this point. The 1037cc V-twin is the same at the core as the V-twin seen on the TL1000 from 1997. Granted, Suzuki have put some serious development into improving just about every aspect of it. They're following the simple rule, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The power is unchanged from 2023. 106 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and 100 Newton meters at 6,000 RPM. What Suzuki have done is add electronic throttle bodies and a quick shifter. Right off the bat, everything about the ride-by-wire throttles improves the overall ride and the power delivery. It allows for a much more accurate TCS and cruise control, which pretty much doesn't move more than 1 km an hour faster or slower the whole time it's set. The quick shifter, while notchy at times, completely changes the way the bike performs off-road. Standing up on the foot pegs can make it fatiguing on the wrist to continuously grab the clutch to change gears. The quick shifter does away with that and allows you to click up and down the gears with minimal effort. It improves the ride way more than I expected. In the highest power mode, the engine mapping is a little hard to manage. The torque isn't as smooth as you'd want it to be while on loose surfaces. That being said, switching to a low power mode really improves that low RPM rideability, but that torquey nature of the V-twin does still linger. On the road, the 1050 loves to be revved out all the way to the red line, and that torque is much more manageable, namely thanks to the tyres hooking up on the tarmac. The torque is easy to handle at low speeds with that improved throttle feeling, thanks to the ride-by-wire. With the peak power coming on at 8,500 RPM, it feels uncharacteristic of a conventional V-twin, but the speed really sneaks up on you, and it's all a very linear experience throughout the rev range. The overall ergonomics of the 2023 V-STROM 1050 DE are perfect. As previously mentioned, you have so much room on the bike, long hauls and cross-country type travel would be spectacular on this thing. I can't remember the last time I jumped off a bike after doing hours of off-roading and didn't feel sore. Even while standing up, the 1050 DE's wide and tall handlebars don't put strain on your wrists. The switchable ABS is also new for 2023. ABS just does not handle loose surfaces well at all, so I can't believe the option to switch it off has been this long coming. The ABS will automatically switch back on when you shut off the bike, which is a positive so you're not riding around on the tarmac without it, but it can be a pain when you forget to switch it back off before you set off riding. You cannot change the ABS or TCS while you are on the move. All of this is controlled via the 5-inch TFT screen. Everything on the dash is right in front of you, it's not confusing, and you don't have to muck around trying to set it up before you ride. Simply just click up and down on the assists you want to change. The TFT is placed so you can see it while standing up, but a vertical stack dash seen on other adventure bikes would allow for a clearer view while standing. The brakes have plenty of grab while out on the road, and you'll have no issues coming to a halt with those massive twin 310mm discs on the front. But the trade-off is there's a real lot of brake power off-road which could take some getting used to. A very strong initial bike will surely catch a few new V-STROM riders off guard. The rear brake is flawless. Everything about the lever pressure to the amount of brake it applies makes the bike so easy to ride at slow speeds. I have to address the top heaviness of the V-STROM 1050 DE. The machine weighs in at a whopping 252 kilograms, which is 5 kilos more than the 2022 XT, and it feels like most of that weight sits high up, coming to a stop on it and the bike feels like it wants to tip over. The weight did catch me out once while I was doing a U-turn, and the bike decided it wanted to tip over. Luckily there are other people around to steady me back up, but if they weren't there and the bike had fallen over and squished my legs, I probably would have been trapped underneath it. The sump guard is standard on the 1050 DE. If you know anything about the 1000 and 1050 V-STROMs, you'll know why they need them. That oil filter sits right at the front and the bottom of the engine, prime position to be taken out by a flying rock or even just a high obstacle. You can hear the guard putting in work as rocks and debris ricochet off it. The 2023 V-STROM 1050 DE and 1050 have made me stop saying I'm not much of an adventure rider. The DE has inspired way more confidence in my ability to ride a heavy off-road bike. Sure, it has its downfalls, but at $22,990 right away for the standard and $24,690 right away for the DE, I'm not sure what else performs this well at that price in this category. It's damn good value for money.
So that's all there is about the new Suzuki V-STROM 1050 DE. You can read my full review on BikeReview.com.au, or you can check out the History of V-STROM article that I recently wrote to get you up to date with everything you want to see.
If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you head onto our YouTube channel to check out our video review of the 800 DE. If you want my further thoughts on the 1050 DE and the 800 DE, head to BikeReview.com.au to read my full review. Make sure you leave a comment below letting us know what bike you would choose. Would you go with the 1050 DE or the 800 DE? Thanks for watching and make sure you subscribe.